Okay, so now we're going to kind of finish the game and check to see if the game is over. So it looks like we've got most of this going. Is the cell already marked? That's if, not state row column. If it's already marked, if it's not null, then you can mark it. So then you just you update the game, and you mark the cell, and then this is where we're at now. Right now we're just kind of passing through to switch player and then wait for the next person to click. Of course, if the cell is already marked, it says so, and you can't click it, and it's still your turn, so you got to click something else. Now we want to say, okay, now we need to check to see if the player, when you make the mark, if that player just won the game. Is the last mark you just made the last mark? So and then if it is, we want to end the game, but we also want to indicate that the winner has won, if that is what has occurred. So, well, actually what else do I have here? So these are the victory conditions. You can have cell 201102. That's this is called the sinister diagonal, because it's kind of left-handed. This is a diagonal, so 001122. These are the diagonals. You could have any column, and you could have any row. So I'm going to record these and as a list of possible wins. So I'm going to go, it doesn't really matter. I guess I'll do it underneath the state. I'll say let win types equal, and I'm going to make another list, and this is going to be the various win types. So I'm going to have an array, and in each array I'm going to have 3 cells. So let's say the first row, that's going to be 0, 0, row 0, column 0, row 0, column 1, and row 0, column 2. This represents first row, the top row. I'm going to copy and paste that. I'm going to have 3 rows, 3 columns, and 2 diagonals that are possible wins. So this is going to be the mid row, the bottom row. We'll have the first column, second column, and third column. And we'll have the diagonal and the sinister diagonal. Okay, so the next row, these would just drop by 1. I'm just holding control while clicking, so I can put down multiple cursors, and I can say, let's turn those into 1s. And then I'm going to go down and turn those into 2s. So those are the rows, victories. Now the columns, that's the, so I could have all my X positions would be 0, that's good, but the column should go 1, 0, 1, 2. No, I guess I want to be in the same column, so I'm going to put all of these in column 0, but this should be 0, 1, 2. For which row? So the row changes, but I'm still in the first column, 0th column. Then this should be, these should both be 1s, and these should both be 2s. Oops. So this is column 0, column 1, and column 2. There we go. And then for the diagonal, that would be 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. And for the sinister, it'll be 0, 2, 1, 1, 2, 0. All right, so those are the coordinates of the cell, which represent different wins. Okay, so how are we going to check for a win? Well, let's say player X makes a mark. So the last mark was an X. When player X makes a mark, I only need, because if the game wasn't over already, the only player who could have won since last time was player X, because player X was the only one who got to move. So once player X moves, we should check to see if player X won. If not, then it's player O's turn. And when player O marks, then you check to see if player O won. So we only check after they make a mark. And we only check for that player to win. That's my thinking here. So what are we going to do? Well, if anybody, if the current player gets all three of any of these marked, they've won. But they only need to get one of them. They only need to pass one of these checks. So if any of these, if these are, so we're going to check to see if the player value X is in this cell, and this cell. And then we'll check to see if it's in this cell, and this cell. If there's any triple, if there's any set of three where they're all X's, then player X just won. So it doesn't matter if it's this one, or this one, or this one. If there's any set of three that passes the check, the player wins. Otherwise, they don't win yet. So as I go through this list of possible win types, any match causes a victory. They're not all going to match, but if one of them matches, that's a victory. Now, when I check one of them, I move down the list this way. I check this, then this, then this. And going this way, they all have to match. So going down, I just need one of them to match. But going left and right, I need every one to match. So in order to win this one, you need a match here, you need a match here, you need a match here. If any of those don't match, you don't get that win. So it's going this way, we're looking for any match. Going down, going left to right, we're looking for every match. We want everything to match. So I drew a little representation of that, that algorithm. And we're using different logical operations. So I have one to see if anything matches. This is how we can check it. And here we have if everything matches. And they're very similar. The main difference is we initialize a variable and we start it as either true or false depending on which algorithm we're running. After that, the only difference between these algorithms is here, where we set the variable to itself and a check to see if there's a match. So let's look at the check to see if you have everything matched. And I guess what I want to show you is that you have two logical operators, they're called, for when you have Boolean variables. And the one is called AND, one is called OR. When you're using the AND operator, it will not trigger unless both things are true. If either one is not true, it doesn't pass, it fails. Whoops, I didn't change, this is wrong. And I deleted, oh, don't look at this. The OR, I didn't change the values for the OR. The OR says, is either one true? Either this is true or that is true. So it should have true, 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 false here. And I guess I didn't notice I made another mistake. So these are good. If this is true and this is true, then that joint condition is true. Is this true and that true? No, so the joint thing is not true. They both have to be true with and, but with or, either can be true, or both. The only thing that fails should be this last one, which is not true or not true. So is this true or that true? If neither is true, then no. But if this is this true or that true? Well, one of them is, so that should be a true. Sorry about that screw up, but this should be only true when they're both true, and this should be only false when they're both false. Everything else here should be true on the or. Okay, so let me show you how we're going to build those, how that applies. So when we're going down a when type, we're going to say, okay, set a variable to true, and then and then set it equal to itself, which is true, and if this value in this cell is x. If that's true, then you have true and true, which is true. Okay, so you pass. Now that means it stays true. Now you take it and you say what it was, and is this an x? If it still was true, and then this check is true, if there's an x there, then you pass true. And then if it's still in the state of true, and this is an x, then all three are true, and you come out with a true. I hope that's making some sense. So that's how we're going to check each when type. When we go over every when type, we're going to do the other one. We're going to set it to false, and we're going to say, so is the variable true, or did you get all matches here? So if this is true, the or causes the variable to become true, and even if none of the other checks fire, it'll stay true because or doesn't get rid of trues. And will catch any failure and cause a failure, or will catch any true and cause it to end up true. So we're actually going to use the or method going down, but the and method going over. So let's set that up. Let's make a new function. I'll put it down below, maybe above make. It doesn't really matter. Check for when. And it's just going to check the current player. So let's say for when type of when types. So check for every type of when there is. And then for each of the, so for that we're going to say, oops, I need a variable here. So I'm going to say let any triple equals false. And then we're going to check to see if one of these when types, if we have all three x's there. And if that comes out to be true, then we're going to return any triple. Whereas in here we're going to say let all three equal true, and then we're going to say for let cell of when type, oops, we'll check there, and in here we will say any triple equals any triple, and then the symbol in JavaScript for and is 2 ampersands. and all three. Whereas in here, I'm going to say if cell equals, I should say player, then all three equals all three, and then or the symbol is 2 vertical bars. That's above the enter key. So if you hold shift and click the button above the enter key, you'll get a vertical bar, like for kind of like the absolute value symbol. But 2 of those is or. Actually, I can just do it this way. I don't need the if. I'm just going to say or cell equals player. And I think that will give us true if you get any of the triples. So let's go up to now what happens when you click. Alright, so mark and then switch player. So before we switch player, let's check for a win. And we'll say if check for win. So if you win, else, do I need the else? I'm not sure. I might delete that in a second, but let's see. So if I win, I think if I don't win, you just keep going. If check for a win, we will end things. So end game. I will, for now, just alert the message player. Then I'll call the variable player, and I'll put it uppercase now. So I'll say to uppercase has 1. Let's try that. Let's see if this works. Hopefully I don't get an error. Boom, 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 boom. So it did not do anything. Check for win. Check for win types. We have all that. So I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to pop this into the its own little browser here. And it does not seem to be working. So let's see inspect element. Sometimes you get more info from this console than you do the others. I'm not seeing any errors. So I don't really know the problem. So let's console.log the state and see what's happening. It should be fine there. So boom, 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 boom. So I see X, X, X. Looks like the state is changing. Boom. 1, 2, 3. That's correct. X, X, X. Okay, so let's, the state seems to be changing just fine. Let me try, in the check for win function, there must be an error there. Let's output some information. So let's just say console.log cell. Oh, you know what? I know what I gotta do. First, yeah, so I shouldn't say cell. So what cell is, I'm gonna console.log cell so you can see that. So boom. And you see when it cycles through every cell, this is what a cell is. So these are coordinates of the grid. The cell is never equal to X or O. So this is not succeeding ever because I kind of forgot what I was doing there. to get what this is in this cell, I need to say state, and then I'll put the row and the column here and here. Well, the cell is a list with the row in the first spot and the column in the second spot. So I'm going to say cell, and to get the first thing, I'm going to put 0 in square brackets. And then for the second number, I'm going to put cell and then a 1 in square brackets. So it's a little hard to see. I'm going to put some space in these square brackets. So you can kind of see maybe. So I have state, and I have 2 sets of brackets, and in the first set of brackets I have cell 0, and here I have cell 1. And that is the thing I'm going to put, that I'm going to check to see if the player is equal to. So let's see. Boom, 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 boom. It still did not win. It's getting better though. So now I just have to debug. So I think this is good. I'm going to get rid of that code there. Okay, all 3 is equal to all 3 or this. So I'm going to get rid of some of the white space, just to make sure that's not causing a problem. I don't think so though. So it doesn't detect the win. Let's console.log. Does it ever turn true? Boom, 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 boom. It does not detect it. This equals true. Oh, this should be the and, I believe. And this the or? Yeah, that's it. I did those backwards. Let's see if that works. Boom, 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 boom. Ah, there you go. Player X is 1. Ah, yay. Okay, had the logical operators in the wrong spot. Okay, so that should be good. So now the game can end, and I can probably still keep playing, but now O has 1, X has 1 because it sees it over here. So we need to end it. So let's say, here's the end game code. I'm just going to kill that event listener. So canvas.onClick equals null, and that should end the ability to play. Player X is 1. Now I can't do anything. That's good. I do want to indicate winner. So, you know what? I don't overly care to indicate winner. So I think that's good enough. I was going to make it like draw like a circle or like a loop around it. You know what? I don't even care to do that. But, so there you go. You got tic-tac-toe. We'll say this, and then we'll say reload to play again. How about that? Boom, 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 boom. There we go. So we got tic-tac-toe. So, check for win. I'm not going to have it switch player. I'm going to say else. And I'll do switch player only if you didn't win. So I don't want it to switch player after you've won. There, and it should stay X. There you go. All right, so that concludes tic-tac-toe. I hope that makes some sense to you. We'll recap it in the next one.